Okay, in this clip, we're going to talk about what we do on college campuses. We're going to talk about evangelizing, equipping, and educating at The Ohio State University and Columbus State Community College here in Columbus, Ohio. The Ohio State University has about 64,000 students, and Columbus State Community College has about 30,000 students. So between both of these schools, we are at nearly 100,000 students, so that's a lot of work to do. My name is Eric Chabot. I am the director of two ministries on campus, on these campuses. I am the CJF FM Midwest representative. That is short for CJF Ministries. They're located in San Antonio, Texas, but I am the Midwest representative. That ministry organization focuses on reaching Jewish people for the good news of the Messiah. We also equip people in the Jewish roots of the faith. We educate people about the relationship between Israel and the nations and other topics. But within that ministry, I also do campus ministry, which is where I do the bulk of our ministry at The Ohio State University and Columbus State Community College. And so we planted two apologetic chapters here, one at The Ohio State University and one at Columbus State Community College. It is called Ratio Christi Apologetics Alliance. So that is the actual campus ministry that I'm part of, or I direct here on both campuses. And I've been actually on the Ohio State campus since the year 2005. I do live in Columbus, Ohio. My website is thinkapologetics.com, and you can go to my YouTube channel called Eric Chabot. So the focus of our ministry is what I call the 3 E's: evangelizing, equipping, and educating. We'll talk a little more about this. Of course, evangelism is to announce the good news, the gospel, irrespective of the results. Evangelism is just simply sharing the good news. And of course, the power is in the message itself. It's not in the messenger. And we certainly have a large focus in sharing the good news on these campuses. But sometimes when we're sharing our faith there or sharing the gospel, objections come up. After all, it is the university setting where you have such a diverse group of people forming their worldviews, coming to a place where they're trying to figure out what their purpose is in life, what they want to do. And within the classroom settings, they're hearing all kinds of different worldviews. So in many cases, we find ourselves having to do what Peter exhorted his followers to do in 1 Peter 3, verses 15 to 16. He says here, "But in your hearts honor Christ, the Lord is holy, always being prepared to make a defense to anyone who asks you for a reason for the hope that is in you. Yet do it with gentleness and respect, and have a good conscience, so that when you are slandered, those who revile your good behavior in Christ may be put to shame." So the point is that in many cases we are asked questions, we're asked to give a reason for why we think that God exists and why Jesus is the Messiah. And we have to give a defense, not a defense to the extent that we punch someone in the face, but just we need to give a reason for the hope that is within us. And we try to do that with gentleness and respect. So we're not afraid of people who ask us questions. Obviously, to do campus apologetic ministry, you have to be ready for people to ask you a lot of questions, and we're willing to handle that. And so that's why we say, ask us, come to us with your questions. Come to us and ask us the big questions, the difficult questions. We want to help you. So as I said, our main focus are the 3 E's: evangelizing, equipping, and educating. Let's talk a little more about evangelizing. So on both of these campuses, we do set up, in many places, we set up tables, we set up, in some cases, our tent there on a really sunny day. But we engage students. We engage them and talk to them about the big questions. We sometimes post big questions and they can come up and talk about them. We'll have a whiteboard out and we'll ask a question of the day. These are some pictures of us on campus. And of course, we go and we show up and we try to be visible, and all we do is leave the results to God. That's all we can do. We can't make anybody believe anything, and obviously we believe God has prepared people or prepared students for us to talk to each time we go out on the campus. There's a picture of me at Columbus State Community College talking to somebody. Now, these are some more recent photos of us over the last fall. last fall when we came back after the summer, and Ohio State came back to campus. Actually, they did allow students to come back. Some of their classes were online. Some of them were on site, but here we are talking to students at the university in the fall. I have some more other pictures here. We also have volunteers to help us. We have a couple volunteers that come out with us because we can get very busy. We're talking to students. There's a picture of me on the top right here with our whiteboard question of the day, does God exist? One of my favorite questions. And so here we are. We're out talking to various people. So this last year has been very interesting since we came back in the fall of 2020, and we've been out in the spring of this year in 2021 tabling and talking to students about spiritual beliefs and worldview issues. And there is a question right there. There's their favorite question, does God exist? You see the diversity there, some yeses, few no's, and a lot of I don't knows. But over the last 2 semesters, since we came back in fall of 2020 up to now, up to this very day as I'm recording this is April 15, 2021, I would say we've spoken to nearly 500 students. We've actually seen nearly 40 students come to faith, making first-time commitments to the Lord. I'm discipling a gentleman who came to faith through our campus ministry. But the thing is that what we're seeing more than ever is we're seeing more and more openness to for students to want to talk about spiritual issues, to talk about their worldview, to ask questions. We are seeing a hunger in some students more than we had typically seen in the past. I think that's because this last year, as you know, has been a very difficult year in our country. There's a lot of polarization. Of course, we had COVID. We had a very hostile election. We had other issues that took place, racial tensions. So it's been a really interesting year. But with that, God has used that to open up the door to talk to students. The students are coming to us and asking their questions. So we are seeing people come to faith, which is really amazing. We're thankful for what God is doing. There's some more pictures of us. Now, as I said, another aspect of our ministry is equipping. That's the second E. Here I am at Columbus State Community College equipping some interns here on basics of sharing our faith and apologetics and worldview. And so then we're taking them out there and they're observing us discussing these issues with students on campus. So as I said, we are big into equipping. We want people to know what they believe, why they believe. We want people to come to us who need strengthening in their faith. And of course, on any campus, just like everywhere else, we deal with the worldview questions. These 4 worldview questions are so pivotal to every single objection we hear. They're pivotal to how the country is going. They're pivotal to what happens on university. But these 4 questions of where we come from, what's wrong with humans, what's wrong with the world, of course, number 3, redemption, what we can do about it, and of course, morality, human rights, and human dignity. What is the grounding point for these things? These are big worldview questions, and these come up a lot in our discussions, and we want to discuss them. So we want Christians on campus or people who actually believe in Jesus to be equipped to know how to articulate their worldview to people around them. So sometimes we have whiteboard questions with worldview questions like the ones we see here about morality. Can there be objective morality without God? Or, can all religions be true? Or what makes humans valuable? So we pop those big worldview questions as students, and then we get into discussions. And of course, we're sharing the gospel as well. There's another one, what's your greatest fear? You can see people had all kinds of opinions about that. So these are great ways to get in discussions with students, and we do use whiteboards a lot, and it's very effective. Now, as far as educating, that's the third E in our 3 E's, evangelizing, equipping, educating. We do have events on campus, and that means that we bring in apologists or speakers or scholars to lecture on the big worldview questions or the big questions of the day. For example, we have had Frank Turek. He's the author of I Don't Have Enough Faith to Be an Atheist. We've had him to the Ohio State campus several times. We've had him there probably 6 or 7 times. This is back 2013. We've had him there more recently. This was just even last year. We had about 500 people there. You can actually, all you have to do is Google it or go onto my YouTube channel. You can watch it. It's on there, or go to Frank's website. It's on there as well. It was live from Ohio State. So you can see people are interested. And so, to say that people are that apathetic or totally apathetic is just simply not true. We also have done some debates. We have partnered with some other campus ministries. This was an event we did a few years back called Why Humans Have Worth. It was with a Christian philosopher and an atheist chemist on, why do human beings even matter? What gives them their worth? Is it, is God the one who gives them the value and dignity and rights, which we believe, or can someone ground those things on an atheistic worldview? So we partnered with another campus ministry, and as you can see, there's the event with the people there. It's probably a couple thousand people there, but these are big topics and people are interested in them. There's another event we had with a physicist named Michael Strauss. He did a lecture called Do Scientific Discoveries Point to the Existence of God? That was a very important lecture for us a ways back, showing how science and faith are not in conflict with each other. We also had James Warner Wallace come to the campus. He is a very popular level apologist, but he did a lecture on the moral evidence for God and why morality is grounded in God and why God is the best explanation for our moral commitments, our moral obligations. That was back in fall of 2018. We also had another debate we did with a resurrection scholar named Michael Licona, and he debated a Jewish atheist named Larry Shapiro from the University of Wisconsin. They debated the resurrection. This is back in February 2017. You can see there's a lot of people there. We had we partnered with another group on campus to do this. So, we try to always do the big topics, the big questions. We've also had some other lectures. We've had Dr. Michael Brown on campus. He's a Messianic Jewish scholar to lecture on why Jesus is the Jewish Messiah. We had Dr. Licona do a couple lectures for us on the resurrection, just, individual lectures, not a debate, because the resurrection is so important, and that is the central claim of our faith, and we really want to see the campus engage that topic. We want to see them at least try to understand how important it is and why they need to come hear a coherent presentation of why Jesus rose from the dead. So we definitely focus on that in our education. There's Frank Turek back at the Ohio State University last year before COVID hit, January 2020. That's the last big event we did because we haven't been able to do any events since COVID came. We can only do our evangelism, but that's not bad. I'm glad we can do our evangelism. But we're thinking this fall of 2021, we'll probably be able to get back to be doing events again. So here he is, and it's a packed house. You can see how much people are really interested in these topics. They are very interested. We also had Dr. James Torr come. He is one of the best synthetic chemists in the world. He runs the chemistry department at Rice University. He's a Jewish believer who believes Jesus is the Messiah. And he lectured on the chemistry of life and why it really points to a creator. And so he is a brilliant man, but we had him here, I think it was 2 years ago or fall of 2019. And so he lectured on why he is a devout follower of Jesus, but ultimately why he thinks the chemistry points to the existence of God when we talk about the beginning stages of life on earth. We also have weekly meetings on campus. We do weekly apologetic meetings where we do a topic. I lead a lot of the meetings. We have students that come and they engage the topics and we engage the big questions of the day. And so that's a great way to build relationships and get students equipped. Sometimes I might have a guest speaker, but the point is that we do have a weekly presence on the campus. You need to have a weekly presence because people need to know that you're there. And that's the benefit of being on a college campus. We can show people that we're visible, we're there if they have questions. It's not just like we come in once a month, we're there all the time, and they know that they can contact us or come to us if they have issues. So that's what we do on college campuses. We do evangelizing, equipping, educating. We obviously have a big desire to reach the Jewish community for the good news, but we reach the nations as well. And we are equipping people to defend their faith, but also cracking the big questions of the day and providing outlet for people to see that what we believe can be presented in the public square. So that's a little bit about what we do. And I also want to mention that we Also have some books. I have written 3 books that you can get on Amazon. They help equip people right there. That's the name of them. Why Does God Exist? Why It Matters. Or Does God Exist? Why It Matters. Is Yeshua the Jewish Messiah and the Resurrection the Jewish Messiah? As I said, you can go to my website or YouTube channel. The books are on there as well. Also, I have an endorsement from James Warner Wallace, who is one of the most popular level apologists today because he's been to our campus 2 times. He says here, if you're interested in raising up the next generation of people who can defend their faith at the university level, I encourage you to support the work Eric Chabot is doing on college campuses. He directs 2 apologetic ministries at Columbus State and Ohio State and reaching nearly 100,000 students. No one is doing a better job reaching campuses for the Lord. So we appreciate that endorsement. I'm not trying to use it to boost myself, but I just want you to know that if you do want to partner with us and what we do, we'd be more than happy to talk to you about that. So thank you for this time, and I hope this has helped you understand what we do on college campuses. Have a good day.